So Streak is a CRM. CRM obviously stands for Customer Relationship Manager. And if you're not familiar, some people are, some people aren't. It's really basically contacts and notes and tasks together with a litany of other things. Reporting, events, phone calls, instant messaging, Twitter. CRM solutions range from very basic to very complex. One of the most common ones out there is Salesforce.com. A lot of people compare it to that. That's an enterprise grade CRM. What we're talking about today with Streak is more for the solopreneur, entrepreneur, small business. Most CRM apps, including Streak, are kind of based on a sales funnel model. So if you're not familiar, I did a little illustration here just to show. Typically, a sale follows a certain funnel model where it starts out being a lead, and then maybe you qualify it and it's an opportunity, then it turns into a sale, then it turns into a client, or some variation on that. So Streak follows the same model. So that's just kind of covering the basics here. Things to know about Streak: it's in beta, which means that things are changing all the time, and I haven't really myself experienced much instability, but betas are not final products. It's also free for now, and any of that can change at any time. So that's the one thing about using software that's in beta, is things can change. However, most companies, if they want to retain their customers that they've gotten while in beta, won't be too drastic about changes. System requirements are that you've got Gmail or Google Apps account, which I think most of us do, and that you're using Chrome. This is a Chrome app, so you can't be using another browser and expect to use it. So Streak has a very nice step-by-step installation guide. However, it's really not that complicated. There's some stuff here, but I'm going to go ahead. So here's Streak.com. And here's my Gmail account. So all I'm going to do is I came to Streak.com. I'm going to click Install Streak. It's going to ask me if it can add it. I'll say yes, you may. And then it is going to launch my Gmail for me and tell me it's been added. Streak is requesting access, and I'm going to allow it. So we're just going to finish for now. We're going to choose our options later. So we know that Streak's installed because we have this nifty little pipelines thing over here. And that is where Streak does its magic. So we'll come back to that in just a second. First thing I'm going to talk about is actually not Streak itself, but the bonuses that come by using Streak. So even if you aren't necessarily in the market for a CRM, these two things make Gmail even cooler. One is send later. You can compose emails any time of the day or night and schedule them to send anytime in the future. They live in your drafts folder until they send it out. Love this feature. Use it all the time. The other thing is called snippets. So if you send the same email text over and over, say you request the same information from new clients, or you send the same little disclaimer when somebody requests something, you can save the text in a snippet and then just insert the snippet the next time you need it. So I will attempt to demonstrate here. I'm going to compose. You see down here, there's a little send later clock. If I click it, I can enter any sort of friendly date and time. So I could say tomorrow at 8 p.m. And down here, it will say your email will be sent at blah, blah, blah. Or you can enter in a specific date, etc. And then once you click schedule for later, it will say it's saved in your drafts and you can just close it out. Snippets is right here. So if this is text, I type repeatedly, I can create new snippets from my current message. Once I do that, I can give it a name, and the next time I come in here, I can select from the ones I've saved. So that's two bonuses that come with Streak CRM that even if you didn't need the rest of it, might be worth checking it out. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is pipelines. Pipelines are your sales funnel. The only reason you might choose to have more than one pipeline is if you've got multiple businesses, or if your selling process for your different products are different. So if you've got one product that has a fairly two-step selling process and then another service that's got a 10-step selling process, you might choose to have different pipelines. But otherwise, you just choose one. Let's go check out the pipeline. So we're going to create a new pipeline. Well, they used to start you out with one. And they kind of want to start you out with a template. So you can choose what's closest to what you've got going on. So, for example, you can use Streak for event planning if you really wanted to, but for our purposes, sales and CRM is what we want. And it gives you a template to start out with. So you could create several new pipelines. If you start to plan an event, you want to track that in here, you can do that too. That's what pipelines are all about. Inside the pipeline, you'll see we have pretty colored boxes. And each of those pretty colored boxes represents a stage. Now, again, they start you out with what they think is going to be helpful, but you can customize it. So if you delete a stage, you can rename a stage. You can change the color of a stage. It's all there for you to customize it. And essentially, you just want to think about your sales process and how you work your clients through it. For me, example, usually I start out with a contact, and then we'll meet, and then I'll send a proposal, and then maybe they accept the proposal or we're in negotiations. Then things are in process, and I use in process pretty generally. And then I also have one more stage that's follow-up, because once I'm done with the client, I like to make sure I'm following up with them. So that's stages when it comes to using Streak. Notice I've got a little menu up at the top. I can create a new box. Go ahead and do that, and we'll call it Jane. Designs by Jane. All right. So here I've got which stage she's in, who it's assigned to if I'm working with multiple people, deal size, and notes. And again, these are also customizable. So if I wasn't really working with anybody assigned to, remove. Yes. But I did want proposal date. I can just go ahead and add those, customize what I'm seeing here. And when I click on the stage box, it lets me change it to anything else. So maybe I've already contacted her. And then it moved, you can see it moved it within the visual here. To go to a box, I click on the little go to box. And here is my basically profile for this particular company or contact. My stage is up here. Any emails I've assigned are in here. I can add comments. I can add files. I can add reminders. But here's the real powerful part. I should have had some emails in here. I don't have any emails at all. We'll take this draft. Back to the draft. And we're going to assign this draft to Jane. And that's why Streak is powerful within Gmail, is that instead of creating individual records every time you contact somebody, you just assign the email to the box. And once you do that, well, let's just, now if I go back and look at my Jane box here, there's my email. So any emails that I assign to the Jane box will be in here, so I can easily go look at them. I could make this a task, which adds a Google task and gives me, if you're tracking your tasks that way. I find that reminders can be very powerful, because sometimes I don't necessarily use Google Tasks, but I want a reminder, and reminders work the same way as the send later. Enter a date, give yourself a note, and then create it. You've got multiple people, Streak works with multiple people, and you can follow different ones. So if you've got a team working on a set of clients, and certain people own certain clients and certain people aren't interested, you can follow or unfollow the client, get the reminders, and that sort of thing. Get back to the presentation and see what I'm missing. Yeah, follow, files, reminders, emails, comments, and tasks. So you can just add a freeform comment also. You don't always have to have it with email. feed. So that's where here's freeform comments. And you can post it, and it adds it in there. And it keeps track of your history when you did things, and it gives you all your information up here that was also shown back in your main pipeline. So that kind of covers the basics of the basics. Do you have questions?
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is great. If you're hearing anyone else, let me know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and
Okay.
I think it's still just you and me. It's a private tutorial.
Gosh, Brandy, thank you so much. I'll be cognizant of your time here. How does it talk with, so it sounds like Streak is kind of self-contained. Does it talk to your Gmail contacts at all?
It only talks to your Gmail contacts in that you assign emails to a specific box. So within here, oh, this isn't a good detail. Because within the email, you get the contact information over here.
Okay.
And you also see that Streak integrates here. So Streak really relies on Gmail to be the link to the contact.
Okay. So, and within Streak, I would think you could flag incoming and outgoings, right? Let's see. Yeah, I would think you could flag at least incomings to put them like into your Jane,
right?
Into Streak Jane,
right? Into the Jane box.
Yes. So it's kind of what I think of it as. Jane is the database for the database record for Jane, that Jane box.
Yep.
Okay.
You can think of it kind of like a file box. So once you create
Yes.
the Jane one, then you put everything relating to Jane into that box.
And it flows from different things, flow into the Jane box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, neat. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can think of different ways I could use this. Yeah. I'm thinking it does not play well with like Aweber or MailChimp or.
So it does not itself have any integrations with email marketing solutions. There are other CRMs out there that are more powerful. Two of them that I kind of checked into for some of my other clients. One's called Nutshell.
Okay.
And Nutshell is more of it still has a Gmail integration point, and it has a MailChimp integration point, but it's a separate app. I think it runs about $10 a month. And then it's called Base CRM. Mm-hmm. It also has a Gmail integration point and MailChimp integration point. So they both cost.
Okay, I would think for a solopreneur, this would probably last you a while.
Yes, yeah, I think it covers pretty much the basics, especially if the point of origin for most of your contact is via email. Now, if you're a person who's all about the Facebook messaging or Twitter or only conducts business during phone calls, it may not be the best solution. But for me, most of my point of origin is all Gmail.
Hi, Dina.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great.
Hey, Dina.
Hi, sorry I was out before, but I heard most of what you guys were talking about.
Oh, cool. And it is being recorded. I'll probably edit it a bit, but it will be available later.
Awesome, okay.
Thank you. That'd be great, yes.
So go ahead.
So from what I heard, and I'm not sure if you guys have you guys used any other CRM products or anything?
I haven't.
I've kind of used, I've used Salesforce.com. I've used some of the enterprise grade stuff, and then I've used some of the smaller ones, not personally, but I've used them on behalf of clients.
Okay, so I actually work with Microsoft CRM all day, every day. That's what I sell to my clients. And since you've worked with like other CRM systems, how do you like this compared to the other systems?
Well, it's just a lot simpler.
Mm-hmm.
I would kind of call it the basics of the basics because it lives within Gmail. It means you don't have to flip to another system and that you can easily flag all your emails and work within an interface you're fairly familiar with. And it does just the management of flow through a sales funnel. It's not really, it doesn't have super task stuff. It doesn't have super reminder stuff. It's all there in basic, but it's just easy to use that way compared to other solutions like the Microsoft CRM or any of the more robust. They have way more functionality, but they can be a little bit daunting to learn.
Right. I like how simple this form is though.
Yes.
Compared to, like, for instance, for Microsoft CRM. Like, this is simple, but it has the same, like, that basic functionality, like you said, but it's just a lot clearer, a lot cleaner on Streak.
Yes. Now, a lot of I've run into clients that need integration with email marketing tools or need additional functionality, like I have to have Twitter or whatever, and Streak doesn't do that. Obviously it's much more basic.
I would think I know there's other applications because I'm already thinking, see, I have to schedule interviewees for my podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that right now off a spreadsheet.
Oh, and yeah, this would make it probably a lot easier.
Yeah, that would make, because I'm trying to think, have I called them, have I followed up, what's their website address? I have to have all that ready before I actually do the interview. So this would be great to put that in one spot, right? Because I'm on Gmail anyway.
Right. Yeah, and it gives you sort of a visual of where things are. So once you have more populated in there, you can see, oh, I've got 3 people I haven't called yet, or oh, I've got 4 people scheduled, and oh, I should send thank you notes to 2 because I interviewed them last week.
Yeah. This is great.
Other questions or things that I can answer at this time for you guys?
I have another question.
Yeah.
So, about how many, I don't want to call them like customers, but about how many people would you say you have when you use Streak?
My client list, I've got actually 3 different pipelines that I'm using. One of them, the one that has the most boxes in it, has probably 50.
Okay.
But then the ones I'm actually working through are probably more like in the 20s. So I don't have a whole lot of a high number of different boxes I'm juggling at one time.
Okay, I was just wondering if it was, I don't know how helpful the tool still is if there was a lot of, for instance, clients in your Streak.
Yeah, if you start to get to 100 active clients or more, Streak might not be the best tool just from a grouping and interfacing standpoint, because I think the interface might get overwhelming with that many boxes in it.
Okay.
Other thoughts or questions?
I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of the nice thing is that it's pretty easy to try out. It's a one-click install as long as you're using Chrome. And then granted access, use it, and if you don't like it or want to delete it, you just delete the app and it's gone. And it doesn't, one of the things it says right up front is it doesn't make any changes to what you've got going on in Gmail. So when you remove it, everything's back to what it was.
Oh, I've got a question, Brandy. Do you know if it works with like an iPad or an iPhone, or do you have to have an Android to make it work on mobile?
So on mobile, you can access the Google website to see it. and use it. I haven't actually tried it on an iPad, but because it runs within the web app, if you
Okay.
go to the website, you can use it. It does not have what I would call a standalone mobile component, so there's
Okay.
not like a Streak app.
Yeah. Okay. I would see, I don't know, I would see most of this being done on like a desktop laptop anyway.
Yes, yes, it's definitely geared towards that kind of experience.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So, for the example that you show, you use sales CRM.
Mm-hmm.
What other options are there?
Well, let me show you. So they've done a really good job of kind of putting together templates for your pipelines. So
Okay.
there's hiring and support, deals, fundraising, journalism, bug tracking, wedding planning, lending, trip planning. And you can start with blank if you want to, but templates kind of take the scary out of it.
Right.
And the journalism pipeline template might work good for the interviews.
Ooh,
Okay.
product development. Launch programs.
Yep.
Ooh. Boy, good old Google. And they make their interface is so simple. They really do. They
Yeah,
get it.
there's no fluff. It's just real basics
Yep.
of the basics.
Yep.
Right.
And the other thing here is that there's no reporting. That's another requirement that I've had some clients come across that they want to be
Okay.
able to generate reports. There's no reporting here. You see the reporting. There are this many in each stage. Done.
Yeah.
How do you get around that issue with reporting? Do you just is there like
I've got a small enough group of people that I'm dealing with that I, at a glance, basically see, okay, these are the people in each stage. These are my deal sizes. Here's what I'm expecting for the month, et cetera, et cetera. It's probably going to serve my needs for a while because I'm a one-man show. But if I ever were to add somebody else and we started to really ramp and I got more than maybe 20 active clients at a time, that probably will mean I have outgrown Streak.
okay?
So any other questions?
I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thanks so much for